today I want to talk about gratitude and what you're grateful for. I've been on this online space for quite a while, and I am so grateful for 2025 because this is the year where my channels got monetized. This is the year where things started changing for me personally and professionally, and this is what I'm grateful for. But I'm just kind of like, sitting here, kicking back, having a good time, and talking about all kinds of wonderful things, and just want to share it with you. Um, I'm Lisa Wright. I'm a content creator. I have been in this space now since 2021, and I've pivoted and I've done some things differently over the years. And finally, I'm in a place where I can say that I'm really happy where I am. I am doing something that I love, which is sharing my life here on YouTube. I do cooking, gardening, and share all my knowledge with creating content and how I stay consistent and how I stay motivated, and it's something that I want to share with you too. If you're here, welcome. Let me know where you're coming from, and just be happy to share, please. Let me know what you have going on in your life tonight and what is the plan for this week, since a lot of people are traveling, they're staying home from work, getting ready for a Thanksgiving feast, and reflecting on what they're grateful for. Last night, husband and I went and did our shopping for Thanksgiving. I try to keep Thanksgiving dishes very simple here at home. First of all, we are a family of 3, and we have 2 dogs and a cat. But in this family of 3, we don't need like a big turkey feast. So what I have been enjoying doing, here, let me roll this up so I don't have to look up. So what I've really enjoyed doing is every year we buy a turkey roll. And it's turkey breast that's like pressed, and it's by Butterball, and it works really incredible. It's all I have to simply do is just put it in the oven because it's already seasoned. But of course, if you know me, you know I always add a few enhancements to that. One of them, hi Christopher, welcome. One of them happens to be is I like to lather it up with butter. And I also add rosemary from my garden. I chop it up real nice, and I do a butter. Hi, Therafu, welcome. Therafinks. Warlord is here, and Rudy is here. 8:30 p.m. Central, welcome. It is 6:30 here. Joseph Wheeler, hi. And Warlord said hi. Hello, darling. So what I do is I'm just talking about my simple Thanksgiving haul right now and what I'm grateful for. So let me know in the comments if you have anything that you're grateful for. And what I do is I have a family of 3. So we make our Thanksgiving dinner small and very simple. Plus, and if you know me, you watch some of my cooking channels, my cooking shows, I have a very small kitchen. So I just get one of those 3, I think it's like 3 pounds, and it's like $14, and it's a Butterball turkey breast roll. And it's already tied up. It's already seasoned. Hi, Abigail. And what I do is, thank you for the floating heart. I butter it up with infused rosemary butter. And, oh, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Warlord. And I then put it over I cover it with an oven bag, like you would with a turkey, but I just cover that one. What time is it for me in Lubbock? It's 8:30. All right. Let me know where you're coming from. The Bay Harbor Gooner is back, gang, and then Gam says that he is eating a balloon. So I'm getting a little trolled here tonight. That's okay. Trolling's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. So I get that done and I put it in the oven, and it says put it in the oven for like an hour. It's really simple. And it comes out nice and juicy. And so that's good. And then I make my own stuffing. Stuffing is really easy. What you want to do is, I don't know if you guys ever do your own stuffing. I know this is a boring conversation, but it's really a simple dish. You get really cute. So what you do is, I'm eating okay, huns, you guys are just messing around here. So what you do is very simple. You get day-old bread and you chop that bread up into cubes. And you can buy day-old bread for like $2. And then you put it in the oven and you roast it with lots of wonderful seasonings on it. And you take it out once it's a little bit crispy, and then you set it aside. And then you get a half an onion, yellow onion, and you get like 3 stalks of celery, and you get turkey seasoning, which you can buy in the supermarket. It's already packed, all the seasonings for turkey. And then you get butter, like a whole stick of butter. And you put that in the pan, you get the butter out, you get the butter melted, and you put your, thank you for the likes. Hey Jay, what is Aries? And then you put it in, it's my birthday today, happy birthday. And do you like dogs? Yes, I have pets. And then you heat it up and you get the onion and you get the celery all nicely toasted and translucent. And then that's, your base is ready. And then so you get that and you set it aside, and you do it the night before, because the next day you're going to take the stuffing base with the bread. You're going to mix it all together. It's going to be really tasty, very flavorful. Then you add a little bit at a time of chicken broth or turkey broth. I like to add chicken. It's fine, doesn't matter. You add it in slowly, and you do it until you get the consistency of, you guys are hilarious, okay? 6, 7. Don't you just love that? 6, 7. What'd you say?
It's a game.
It's a game. I know it's a game. How do you make your potatoes and Thanksgiving? Oh, we're going to get to that. So you get it to the consistency that you want, and then you roast it in the oven until the bread gets a little bit brown on top, and your stuffing is good to go. All right, let's get into how do I make potatoes in Thanksgiving. I do mashed potatoes. I get 4 russets, and because I have a family of 3, so we get 4 russets. I peel them and I cut them up. I boil them. But while that's going on, thank you very much for likes. While all that is going on, I cut a garlic in half, and then I put it in a little basket, and then I put olive oil on top and I roast it. And when it is time to mash the potatoes, I crush that garlic, squeeze it into the mashed potatoes, and add butter to the mashed potatoes and sour cream. I don't do heavy cream. I just add sour cream because it adds a really nice, it adds a nice layer of flavor to the mashed potatoes. And the mashed potatoes absorb that, because it's so starchy, it absorbs all the liquids quickly. So you get really nice, creamy mashed potatoes. I love it. I do my own cranberry sauce. It's so simple. You just get a bag of ocean spray cranberries, and then you boil some water, a cup of water. I think it's half a cup of water, a half a cup of sugar. You boil that up first, then you get it to the roiling boil, and then you get your cranberries and you pour it in there. And then you wait for the cranberries to get melty. They start popping, pop, 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 pop in the heat. And then it turns into a jelly. And then you take that cranberry, you transfer it to a metal pot or whatever. You put some foil over it and you put it in the refrigerator. I do that the night before. Roland Adventures, $100. Roland, you are fantastic. $100 My wife makes a mean turkey dinner. Thank you, dear. He's here, he's listening. Rolling Adventures, $100. You're so sweet. My family, do you mac, duck, or turkey? I just do straight turkey. Yeah. I do a turkey roll. I love it. I just do the turkey roll. It's very easy. It says, hi, you're so pretty. Thank you very much, Ellie. I appreciate that. And also let me know where you're from. Okay. Ellie's son Kistler says, hi. Roland's trolling. Roland, I know. That's okay. Don't worry. And I know. Don't worry. Kirk says he's trolling you, Lisa. It's all good. Okay. I don't take it personal. But it's nice to say thank you when somebody has a nice gesture. All right. I am from Louisiana. We've been to Louisiana, haven't we, Lance? Mm-hmm. We went there for beignets. We had a really good time. I'm literally just typed 100. That's all good. And we have a friend from Australia. Welcome from Australia. I love Australia. I've been there many times. I used to do a lot of business down there. And it's a really pretty country. Food's great. And so is the wine. Flight's really long, by the way. Best airline to fly to Australia, and you're going to kill me for this, is Air New Zealand. The best. Messi or CR7. I don't know what CR. I don't really follow football or soccer. But I know who Messi is. Sorry, I'm terrible spelling. I am from North Carolina. Well, welcome from North Carolina. We have friends who live there. I'm from California. We have friends who live there, and many of our friends who moved to North Carolina, some of them actually come back to California, to believe it or not, because you guys have weather, and we don't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, okay? But if you're coming from a state that's not used to having weather, and then you go someplace, like the Carolinas, or, Louisiana, or Mississippi, where the summers are really hot, and you're not used to it, you're in for a big surprise. I sub. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate you subbing. My channel is about midlife. It's not going to be gaming or anything super exciting. If you know me, you know what is 6 plus, that's cute. What is 6 plus 7? Okay, so Matthew Barrett says, I barely get snow. Yeah, I mean, we got snow I think a couple years ago. We got it once, and I think it lasted maybe 5 minutes or 20 minutes. And I live here in Long Beach, and I know people say you shouldn't reveal on, social media where you live. Whatever. Nobody, my husband and I always go, nobody wants to come to Long Beach anyway. Even with people who live in LA. Okay, so, well, I lived in Australia at the moment, but I lived in South Korea until I was 7. Oh, okay. I've never been to South Korea, but I live in Los Angeles. So a lot of my friends and coworkers are Korean. If you've ever want to visit Seoul, where I live, it's very pretty. I hear it is. Yes, I hear it is. There's it's interesting. You're saying 13. Did you know that 13 is a lucky number in some countries? It's too hot for being winter here. If you're in Australia, yes, it is too hot to be winter down there. And I really love is Aussie Rules football, by the way. The league football, it's really good. It's a lot better than the iron grid football that we have here. He says, amen. 1999 says, amen, I had to do it. Australia Rules, hey, I like the girl. She don't like me how I do, okay. I don't have an answer for you regarding that. Are you into baseball? Yes and no. I do not support the 3-letter sporting franchises here in the US. except for the NHL. Soccer is a incredibly great, you know what I like? I like soccer. And I like rugby. Rugby is a lot of fun. Rugby is a very exciting game to watch. A lot of people don't get the rules. They get confused, and it's like real football. I am a D1 football player, and I will be going to the NFL in 2030. NFL, you're talking about not the US NFL, right? Because if you really want to get into conspiracy theories, some people here in the US don't think that the NFL is a real sport. It's registered as if you register the NFL, it's registered under the corporate charters as entertainment. Australia rules said football. And somebody wants to ask me yet again about Messi. It's okay. Yeah, so some of us don't believe that the NFL is a real sport. That's me. I'm one of those persons, by the way. But that's just something I've learned along the way. Allison Kester 42 says door. Well, if you're referring to The Doors, okay. Yeah, great music. They are also a Los Angeles band, by the way. They played a lot in LA, which I used to be married to a musician in Los Angeles, West LA, during the height of the music industry's last phase, which was in the 90s. We're talking about Nirvana playing in LA. We're talking about a lot of the different bands playing in Los Angeles at the time and being discovered, that wave. And I was in the middle of it. So I got a chance to go and watch live performances of my husband on stage in the Viper Room, the Troubadour, and other very, very famous clubs. And at the time I was in my 20s. I'm just turned 60, by the way. So I pray that everyone here knows Jesus as a Savior. If not, ask Him your turn from your sins. Amen to that, 100%. So, oh, don't send hate from California. No. I'm California too, okay? I was born and raised here. So there's nothing but love out of California. It's California Love. Great song. That song's been around since the 90s, by the way. That song's been around a long time. And I was actually, a little bit of trivia, if you want to know a little piece of my life, I was at the MGM when the situation happened with Tupac. I was there that night. There was an event. There was, I think it was an MMA fight, an MMA fight. And we were there at the hotel. We were hanging out. It's very unfortunate. My name is Lisa Wright, if you want to know. Allison, thank you for asking. Warlord said, it's too hot for me. I'm in North Carolina. I don't get snow much. Yeah, I don't know the weather that much in North Carolina, but I do have a friend who lives there, and he moved down from New Jersey. And I do have a friend that ex-work colleague who moved to North Carolina just before the hurricane. And they sold everything they had in California. They had water property, etc. They had a dock and they had ocean property, and yeah, they left. I'm 12, but I still love God. Good for you. Keep that up. Don't ever lose it. It's snowing in your neighborhood. Let us know where you are in that state where it is snowing. And my first time experiencing snow was, now I've experienced snow, but I'm talking about like snow. Hardcore, you're going to a state where there's going to be snow, like newsworthy snow, like newsworthy weather. And it was in the middle of winter. We had to go to Boston. Guys, I was stressing out. They said that when we went to go visit Boston, They said it was one of the coldest winters in like record history or something like that. I was having an anxiety attack. I thought, oh my God, we're not prepared for this. I don't know how we're going to do it. They say it's really, really cold. And, you know, I'm from Southern California and do we have the right clothing? I was literally stressed out. I went to the Dickie store and I bought long underwear, and come to find out, we showed up, we got there at night. Yes, the initial shock of cold when it hits you, that freezing cold, is unforgettable. That's what happened to me when we stepped out of the airport to go rent the car. It was unforgettable. I will never forget how, like, anything that was exposed to that chill, to this day, I won't forget it. But we got into the car and then we had to drive through Boston to New Hampshire, of all places. I'd never even been that far to the East Coast in the middle of winter. And I was a little anxious about driving in the snow, and you know, all around you, it's just white. And we finally stopped off into a nice little cozy spot somewhere like in Manchester, Boston or something. I don't remember, but we went into a pub and we ate food and everything was incredible. I mean, they had these incredible statues everywhere. Our founding fathers, history, and you know, it was really like my first time in the East Coast. And we were there for a family wedding. And it was great. It was incredible. And it was so funny. And I didn't know this, but my family, and maybe it's just me, but something I paid attention to. So we arrived at their house and they had like the snow cap, you know, the edge on the side of the house. Everybody's shoveling snow, so it piles up, I guess. And I brought a bottle of wine to say thank you to my family, and was really happy to be there. And I took that bottle of wine. She took the bottle of wine and she stuck it in the snow. And she's like, don't worry about it, it's gonna be just fine. And as I looked over, they had whiskey, they had bottles of vodka, they had it just stuck in the snow on the side like it was a snow shelf, like a wine cellar out there. She goes, we'll wake up the next morning and it'll still be there. It's fine. And I was laughing. I thought that was funny. I never forgot that. Never. But we ended up going and visiting Vermont. And that's the crazy thing is, before you know it, you're in another state. We're like, we're in Vermont now. You know, an hour went by. We're in this state now. We're back in New Hampshire. We went to Boston, you know, and you can go to visit New York and be back that afternoon. Unlike here, it takes hours and hours to get through California to go to another state, you know, or to get from California to Arizona, it's half a day. And then to get from Arizona to New Mexico, it's a whole day later. So it's a lot. It's like I drove from, my family used to live in New Mexico. I drove from New Mexico back to California in one shot. It was a 15-hour drive all by myself with my dog. And I remember leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning and getting home in Long Beach at 9 o'clock at night. And it was a journey, but I made it home. So, hello, I understand about the hurricane was bad. Yes, and I don't know what happened after that. After that hurricane in North Carolina, it's really sad. It's unfortunate, you know, and we should be taking care of our own, by the way. But I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to them. I'm sure they managed their way through, but you know, honestly, I got this thing. I told my husband, weather is really hard for me to take. Like hurricanes, tornadoes, an earthquake, not a problem. I can handle it. I think I went through a 6. I lived in Whittier and we had this earthquake that was so powerful. I was in the epicenter. And I'm going to tell you, when you're in the middle of an epicenter, a quake area, it jolts you and wakes you up like you won't believe. And, you know, there's nothing that you can hold on to. Everything is shaking so bad, you're even shaking. There's nothing you can hold on to. Hey everybody, Max the Hedgehog is here, welcome. But when you're in the middle of that epicenter, it is jarring and you'll never forget it. I never forgot it my entire life. And it's the quakes, all the aftershocks is also really jolting as well. The aftershocks will really mess you up because so you get the main earthquake and the main earthquake's done, it's over. But it's the aftershocks, and it's like a spurt of energy that gets popped into the ground. And you don't know how long it's gonna be. They're longer. And the houses in California are designed for earthquakes. Many of the homes here in California, homes that were built in the 50s, the 40s, the 50s onward, they were built on what's called rollers. I don't know the design of it, but I do know this. When an earthquake hits, you feel the house rolling, okay? But that's with an aftershock. So you could feel it rolling back and forth. And it rolls like this. It doesn't roll like this. It rolls like this. So you're just kind of like, however, if you're in the middle of an epicenter, there's no rolling. You are shaking. You are holding on to walls and the walls are shaking. And you are just like literally writing it out. And hoping the noise of things crumbling outside you'll never forget it. You just don't, and you don't know what's happening around you. I'm almost finished, turn around, okay. The noise around you of hearing houses crumble, of hearing walls crumbling down, not knowing how long it's gonna be, but just hearing all the stuff falling, debris, constant debris. This earthquake happened in 1987. And I never forgot, in college at the time. So, hi Gabe Itch. Gabe, how are you? Larry Redditz is here. Larry Reddit says, hi, my name is Gabe. Nice to meet you, Gabe. Welcome. And so that's our weather. And then of course we get rain for like 3 days, which rain has already come and gone. Of course, and in LA, in California, rain makes the news. Rain makes the news. It's so stupid. They turn it into a news event. Okay. I miss my friend Nick. Nick, her, what kind of man? If you miss your friend, I'm very sorry, but this is the time to be grateful to have your friend and just remember Nick really well, okay? And if you're trolling me, it's okay too. Somebody says you're not real. No, I'm real. The king is here. Okay, yes, he is. He's coming. He's watching us from above. And yes, Jesus loves us very much. He is filled with love. Taught us how to love, right? Yes. So yeah, hate from California is not a cool thing because that's not what California is like. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday, Rachel. Singing says birthday. My name is Emma. Okay, Emma. And singing would be better. I will break your ears. I think the best I should do is happy birthday. Oh gosh. Warlord says that he had pew pew sounds outside his house. I'm very sorry. You need to duck when that happens. Okay. I'm not laughing about that. I'm just saying, because I grew up in a very heavy gang related area in Los Angeles. And I remember when we would hear pew-pews go off at night, that we would have to dive and duck on the ground in order to avoid any type of pew pew residual. But that's not a laughing matter. And so just be careful, be safe. All right. And the fact is that what's so sad is that when you grow up in it, like I did, it's so sad. It's not that you become desensitized to it, but you have to learn. It's so sad. You learn to manage it and live through it. Now, I've never been in a situation outdoors with that happening, but I want to tell you that my entire family has awakened in the middle of the night and have had to duck onto the ground. And then when it was over, Dad would go through the house and make sure that we were all okay. That's not a good story to have to tell, but it's the reality of life when I grew up. And, I grew up in a heavily urban community. So let's keep going. So you stay safe, love. But way to go are a positive light. How much are those paintings behind you and can I buy them? These paintings are not expensive. This is, so the one behind me is an original artist from Walt Disney, and it's not expensive. It was probably paid about $50 for it. And it's the snake from Jungle Book. And it's a reproduction. But the reason why I wanted to get that is because I'm a snake. That is my Chinese zodiac snake. And this right here, 2025 is Year of the Snake. I pray that I live to the next round of the snake, which will be when I'm 72. So as you know, the zodiac, it goes 12 years and there's an animal each of the zodiac. I gotta go. Warlord, you take care. Thanks for caring. Bill DeLeo says, same. He said, you passed the test. Jesus loves you 100%. Mary Chu. Hey, Mary Chu. Yeah, we hung out over on the other platform. How you doing? I hope that you learned a lot from that. I really do. Tennessee. Teresa from Tennessee, welcome. Tennessee's beautiful state, by the way. Unforgettable. I've visited there and it's beautiful. Cool, you have those paintings. You love the paintings. Thank you. They're both originals. The one on top is an original. I used to volunteer at a place called Francisco Homes in Los Angeles, and it was a transitional housing center for prisoners that were leaving prison. They were lifers. So if you spent 25 or more years in prison and were released, you have to go through a transitional housing. You have to spend, I think it's 6 months in a transitional house. And basically what it does is it helps you get adjusted back into a free life. All the way down from finding a job, managing your Social Security, because if you went away when you were 25 and you get out, it's 25 years later, think about what life is like. Cell phone technology, computers, ordering things online, making purchases online. Everything is done differently, and mass transportation, trains. You went from where transportation like via air, was a lot different 25 years ago. Now, things have changed. So you got to learn how to manage yourself. And plus, they're on a strict parole, and they have to really stick to their parole rules. And it's important to have a stable life while your parole officer is visiting you. Many of them are on parole for a number of years. And you have to be accountable to your parole officer. They need to know where you are. They're the people who give you permission on where to go and what to do. And so you have to balance living on parole, but also living a free life as well. and it's hard. And the parole board assigned you a parole officer and a transitional home. And you can't do drugs. You can't drink any alcohol because you're going to be tested by the parole. And if you come out dirty, like your parole, if you like show positive for drugs and things like that, you don't get a second chance. They will send you back to prison. So you really need to make sure that you have a stable environment for which to live. And even after the transitional life, after 6 months, then you find a place to live. Your parole officer will visit you at the home that you're living in. And if you're in a relationship, the parole officer wants to know all the people that you've met along the way, and they want their contact information, all kinds of stuff, and they will call you. Okay? So it's really, it's very interesting. So besides all that, one of the prisoners painted that. And he was so kind to give it to me. So I have it on the wall. It's called Confusion. And I understand why he called it confusion, because, you know, your life is very confusing when you are thrown back into real life after living 25 years away. So let's catch up on some. Granny, can I get it for sure? Let's see. Let's catch up. Hi, Teresa in Tennessee. Cool. I love the paintings. Billadilo says, what is your religion? I'm Christian. And says, Marichu says she follows my husband and played some other video already. Very nice. Thank you. Mary Chu says, some introducing also group juice as I follow. I appreciate you with that. And I hope that we're able to help you along your journey in monetizing your channel. Okay. It's really important. And you, anywhere in the world, you can monetize anywhere. You just need to make sure that you are following all the guidelines, because some countries have restrictions on YouTube. And so you just, you know, like in Canada, okay, for example, TikTok Shop, they don't have it in Canada. TikTok Shop's not in Canada. But there's a lot of people, they kind of wish they had it there, you know. But in the US, obviously, it's going like gangbusters, so it's crazy. So yeah, you just have to make sure that you know what is allowed and where you are. Sup, Grandma? Grandma's doing great. She's in the other room. My mom is 91. She's going to be 92. My mother, we brought her from New Mexico to come and live with me. And my mom's grandma. I don't have any kids. I'm auntie. And if you want to call me auntie, I would love that very much. Granny, can I get it for sure? Justin, whatever it is you're asking, Justin, I can't guarantee. Billadil says, all of us are insignificant in the universe. The earth is not eternal and we will perish one day. Same as our galaxy, we will all return to someone. We all have a home to go to. So, and it's important that you embrace that. But yes, I understand. You can literally just skip out on parole. No, you cannot, Justin. Don't say that. You cannot skip out on parole. You can turn, if you turn from parole for the duration of your parole, there are no consequences. You really shouldn't, okay, here's something I want to share with you. So I was, you know, once again, working for a volunteering for a transitional place. And one day, this guy, he had probably been out, he had probably been home, we call it home, came home for less than a week. And somebody said, don't worry, you know, don't worry. They're not going to know. Have a beer. Parole officer turning the corner to come and check from him, caught him with a can of beer in his hand. Guess what happened? He was returned. It was so sad. He had been in prison for like over 30 years. 1 week, he's back. Ugh, very frustrating. Ollie 7 Up says hi. Billy Delio, life is not confusing. We do not really matter, all of us. Well, there is a program called Landmark Forum. And Landmark Forum is like the old school est. And what you learn there is that we have been conditioned as humans. We domesticated. And the whole concept of getting a name and having a birth date and the whole calendar is all man-made. But the thing is that as humans, we put emotion, we tie emotion and we tie stories to all these events in our life. And we attach emotion to it. We attach feelings. We attach meaning to all these things. But the reality is that we're just living on this planet like a dog lives on this planet, or cats, and that they don't really have and tie specific meanings to things. They may have emotions, but they don't attach a long storyline meaning, and they don't let experiences define who they are. And we do that. We hold on, we attach ourselves to these stories. And so what Landmark Forum helps you do is to detach yourself from a lot of the trauma that you've had in life. And thank you very much for the gift. Love you so much. Thank you. But you don't attach yourself to the drama. You detach, and you can reinvent and create a new story for yourself. But you have to train your muscle to do that. And, I gotta tell you, I took Landmark and it changed me. I took it in 2018. Oh, thank you for the claps. Appreciate it. And the gifts. You guys are so sweet. And I took it in 2018. It was a weekend away. It's a weekend. And you start like at 6 o'clock in the morning and you go to 11 o'clock at night, and then they send you home with homework. And then you have to be back at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you go to 11 o'clock at night. And you're not getting like brainwashed, but you're getting taught something. You're learning how to look at things differently in the world. And what I learned is that we've been living in these rackets for so long that we have this racket where all we want to do as humans is be proven right. And some of us will take it too far, and it'll plague us, this incredible desire to always have to be heard, to always have to be right. And that's not really a thriving life. You want to be able to absorb and understand what's going on around you, but not attach to it. And I'm going to tell you, it affected my work life, because I learned that you don't always have to be right. It's meaningless. You don't always have to fight with your boss or with everything else, all of that. Thank you very much. Thank you, love. I appreciate the generosity. You don't always have to fight to be right, and you don't always have to fight for it. And you can recognize when people are running a racket, and you could choose whether or not to attach to it or not. And it completely, utterly, people said that I changed, and that I was a different person, and it liberated me from all of the attachments in life. I've had trauma happen to me when I was young. I've talked about it in my story. Thank you for the likes. And I've tell it in my story. I've had trauma. I've had things happen to me as an adult. And guess what? This is the magic that they always do. They would do this in Landmark, is somebody would tell about an incredibly traumatic experience they had. And the advisor or the leader of that weekend would go, okay, is there anything that you could have done to change it, right? And they're like, no. And they would snap them out of it by saying, it happened, right? Accept the fact that it happened. Okay. And what did you have for breakfast this morning? And the person would go, oh, I don't know, I forgot. And they would say, exactly. The breakfast you had this morning is no different than the trauma that you experienced in the past that you attach yourself to. Your brain doesn't know the difference. But for some reason, because you made it into a thing and let it define you, you hold on to that memory, but you don't hold on to what you had for breakfast this morning. Your brain doesn't know the difference of the two. So it really like snaps you out of certain types of things that plague you. I was like floored. I'm like, what? Craziest stuff ever. And I just was, the brazenness. Some of these people, some of the stories these people told made me cry. And the guy's like, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? Wow. Talk about just going through it. Okay. If you run from, okay, we talked about parole. If life's not confusing, we do not really matter. We just discussed that. I love the paintings in the wall in the back. Thank you. You're a new person, Gloria. Welcome. Jason Wallace says hi. And Caleb Shipway says hi. Lord Ali says, show some, no. At 60, we're not doing that. Little Leaf says, guess who I hate? I have no idea. And guess what? It doesn't matter. And then Little Leaf is being not cool. We're going to have to give Little Leaf a timeout. Okay. Let's remove you. Okay. Bing, bada boom, Little Leaf. Because I'm old school. All right. Just saying. There you go. You got a timeout, Little Leaf. All right. There you go. And then Olipop says that he likes the paintings again. And what's up, my palace, no, you said it. You spelled it wrong. Somebody come and get Granny. That's all good. 36 of age now. I heard I call you auntie. Yes, you can call me auntie. All right. I'm so sorry that your father passed away. What was it like before I existed? I don't know. I don't know how old you are. Ghost Vibes said again, Pops passed away. I'm sorry. And then he says hi. And not like a dog or cat. We are in the image of God. Yes, we are. Okay. But there are some people who still live in the racket. I wish that they would be able to free themselves from that trap because it's exhausting, and really get themselves into a place where their souls are free and they're in peace on this living here. You know, when you don't attach that, most of that energy is static. When people get caught up in that racket, when they get caught up in that, I always have to be right. That energy level is at a very static level, and it's not healthy. It actually doesn't do your central nervous system any good. So you want to be able to get out of that. You know, I have friends and I have family members who are still running the racket. And when they come and visit, like my husband, because my husband went through it, he went through Landmark as well. And they're like, the way you guys talk to each other, it's so different, you know, than what we experience. It's like, yeah, we talk to each other about accountability, appreciate you. We say things like, thank you, I appreciate you. You know, we just say this, we have this type of language that a lot of people are not comfortable with because, you know, my husband and I understand the meaning of being present. We understand the meaning of listening intently. We understand the meaning of when you're listening to somebody and talking. Many people, when they're talking with you, they already have dialogue in their head, and they will spew out something. They're like 3 beats ahead of you, which means they never really listened to you in the first place. But when you're present and you let yourself go and you're listening to somebody intently, you really have an opportunity to connect in a very impactful way. Landmark has this exercise, which I did not do, but they have this exercise called Be With. and they will have, let's say, 50 people in the room. And they'll take those 50 and split them up into 25, 2 rows of 25, okay? And they'll have you stand tall, and you go up, and they size you out. So you go up, and if that person's taller than you, they'll put you in a chair, and you will sit silently looking at that other person and do nothing. It's called be with. You'll just stare at one another. And they say that some people break out crying because what's happening is that you are feeling the energy from that other human being without having to use your voice, without having to have a motive, without having to have a reason. You know what I mean? Without having anything, just being with. And sometimes my husband and I will sit in the room and we'll just be with. That's it. Nothing else going on. No TV. Maybe some music. And that person, he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. And we're just creating. And that's what I love about being on this platform, is being a creator. Is really an opportunity for me to be with an audience and share my life and share my journey and not feel guilty. And also this, guys, not expect anything in return. You know, a lot of people come on these platforms and they fail one important message, and that is to add value into somebody else's life and build a community. And be with. That's where I am here right now. We're just being together. Thank you for the sub. And then JB says he's making stuff up. Okay. I do look like Roseanne Barr. I know. 100%. And then, of course, we are going on the 6-7 train here. Welcome to the train. That's so original. When is, and it doesn't really matter when that ends. It's okay. I'm 60. I've been on trends. What are your thoughts on, and does it scare you? I think everybody has a little bit of fear, but about it. But they say that when it happens, that you actually don't fear. I've heard this is really weird. There's a little Christmas tree. Hi. This is a cult. I'm curious which one you mean is a cult, but that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. If it worked for you, great. If not, well, then it didn't work for you. I have some friends who also went through Landmark, and we're not like culty at all. God bless you. Thank you. Jesus Tyler Smith is trolling. This is yes, we're a child of God, 100%. Any AOGs in the chat? No, you are not. I don't understand. But anyway, I'm gonna do a backlift off my monitor, and let AI do that for you, hun. We are so unbelievably small. If you've been to the Grand Canyon, yes, you will understand that it's going to put your life into perspective, and you will understand that everybody who we idolize in life, including the fact that we worship things and people, and we put people up on pedestals. When you go to the Grand Canyon and know the massiveness and the impact that this canyon has had in that area and what it really means, it puts your whole life in perspective. And all the movie stars and all the people who think that they're so up and mighty and talented and rulers and the top dog and all that stuff is meaningless, because the mark you leave on the planet will be forgotten in a generation. We have movie stars that next generation is asking, who are you talking about? They have no idea. You know what I mean? Let's try to catch up here. Somebody says you're 60, you thought I was 35. I appreciate that. I do have kind of a youthful energy. What are the pictures in the background? That is from Jungle Book. That's the snake. I'm a snake. That's my zodiac sign. And then we have a painting from a friend of mine. He was an ex-prisoner, came out of Old Folsom, and he painted that. It's called Confusion. Okay. I have more. I will do a show and tell on another day. I didn't land it, BT. Oh, I'm sorry. Asking me to please be quiet. Okay. You can always just keep scrolling. That's easy. Hello, I named my daughter Lucy Pearl. Is that a good name? Lucy's a really cute name. Ezra says hi. And if we were the only ones in the universe, why would God make all these celestial bodies for no reason? Good question. You should do a whole video on that. Cruz says present. Asking me if I'm Asian. No, I'm Native American and Mexican American. Holy yap. Okay. Keep scrolling. Cute Hootie, thank you. That's the name of my dog. I feel like I would start crying, feel like their humanness. And then we're in all this together. We're in it together. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I have a serious question for you, Auntie. How can I be more happy every day? Life is hard right now, and looking at you, you might have some experience. I do have some experience, and I don't know how old you are, but there's a very good chance you might be going through the dark night of the soul. The dark night of the soul usually starts around age 40 to 50, and it's that moment in time where you start awakening, your soul awakens. Everybody goes through it. Some people just don't acknowledge it like others. I went through it, and it was a blessing. And if you ever want to do research on the dark night of the soul, I have a video about it on my play, on my channel. And I talk about how, life was different for me back then. And then some things happened. I got a divorce, and the market crashed, and I lost my house, and I lost my job. I lost my business, and it all happened and I lost my marriage. And it was very sad. And you talk about losing everything. And I realized then that I was going through the dark night of the soul. And I had an incredible spiritual awakening at the time. And my life changed forever in a positive way. So, please know this. There's light at the end of every event, okay? You may think you're going through it. Yes, everybody goes through something in life, but you come out of it stronger and more radiant, okay? I have a serious question. So I hope that helped you, and check out my story about the dark night of the soul, okay? No expectations, 100%. Live life without any expectations. Don't set a timeline to things. That's another thing I want to share with you. Expectations and setting a timeline, saying, oh, I need to have this done by this time. That's not your timeline. We live in God's timeline. Brittany Camero says, hi. Kilgard really doesn't like me talking, so I hope Kilgard is gone. Some people don't want to hear you talk. Maybe they just want to be with. How about that? Okay. Brittany loves the number 6, 7. We're doing this again. And then Billadil says he has thoughts, that there are my thoughts. We are not a child of God in the literal sense. God's created us from the dirt, true, and water. Don't forget the water. And cause the Big Bang to exist. I believe that Jesus is a prophet, and a very good one too, legendary at best. And don't forget, we're also from dirt, but we also are from water. Okay. Hello from Stick Bugs Minecraft guys. Lori says you're beautiful. Thank you. Donnie Double says that sounds spooky. Kurt says you live in Sage, California. No, I'm going to be very transparent. I live in Long Beach. Hey Lisa from FF2, long time no see from FF, long time no see to you too. Welcome. Donnie says, I don't know what Donnie sent me, a little dip or something. Oh, never mind. And Abel says hi. We had a lot. D-Walt says Louisiana is LA is a praying channel. Okay, that's all good. D-Walt puts a question mark, and Kurt Knight says very cool. And what do you do if you have nothing to do? Then you do nothing. No, I'm just kidding. There is no really nothing to do. Keep busy. Keep your hands busy. Okay. Do you like Tractor Supply? Did you know me? Did you know that I studied agriculture? I have an agriculture degree. Let me just get up here. I live in the city and I have a degree in agriculture. So I know what a Tractor Supply is. And I worked in international agriculture for 30 years. This is why I live in Long Beach, because the port of Long Beach is the largest import and export, busiest import and export port in the world. We are a huge corridor, export corridor to Asia. And most of my trade that I did back and forth was with the Asia. This is known as the West Coast, is known as the Asia corridor. There is the LAX airport and the Port of Long Beach, the Port of Los Angeles, Port of San Francisco Airport, and I think Seattle. They have what is known as the corridor. And the way the flights exit, they have to get into that corridor into Asia. And it also happens the same way into the US. Isn't that amazing? And they fly this path and then they split up. It's the coolest thing. So you learned something new today. I like to support YouTubers. Like, really, I'm 13 and I love weed. It's legal here in California. Can you grow plants then? Yes, I grow plants and I garden here. I do urban gardening. I live in a very, very small house in Long Beach. I used to have a bougie house in Huntington Beach, but like I said, I lost everything. Heartbreaking, but it doesn't matter now. What did I say earlier? All that's meaningless. And then he says, what? And then I think in California, I think you can grow like 5 plants of weed, but I'm not exactly sure. I don't do it. I don't care. We have so many dispensaries all over here. It's ridiculous. 13 and love that. Stephanie Chavez says, hi. Hi, Stephanie. Billy Deal says, I'm going for an astrophysics degree. I have to study 5 hours a day and I do not have a real life, but it's temporary. Get your degree if that's something you want, okay? And also learn a damn trade. I'm giving you some advice. Learn a trade. Learn how to drive a heavy piece of equipment and learn a trade so that you can be your own skill. Take a mechanics class, all right? And definitely take advantage of being self-sufficient and learn how to garden. HI means, are you a Jesus? Yes, Jesus fan, absolutely. That's awesome. I like plants, me too. I like desert plants. You know, California is a desert. So, and Los Angeles is a half swamp and half desert. We have a lot of fossil fuel here. Plants are very nice. Can you be my mom? I can be your aunt. How about that? How about if I change my name to Aunt Lisa on my, it's Auntie Lisa on my page. Your mother passed, I'm so sorry. I still have my mom. I'm very grateful. She's gonna be 92. I hope she makes it. Your nose is very pleasant, thank you. You are the best, I appreciate it, Stephanie. And yeah, we have a lot of like very cool Christian people here. And join a union, yes. Learn a trade and join a union. Yes, 100%. And put money aside. Start saving a Roth IRA as early as possible. I grew one plant before, but I forgot the name of it. Well, you know, go to a nursery and find the plant that you grew and keep the little white stub, the ticket, and that you can always know how to look it up later. Mark says hi, and Billadio is still here. I grew one plant, and we talked about that. Okay, sorry. Davita 1 2 3 4 5. I see some fossil fuel right now. Haha. Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, at my age, fossil and fuel, you're going to want to do that on a daily basis. Okay, I'm just saying. Can you give us a hand tour? Or can you give us a tour? Have a great day. Thank you so much. Support your local IBEW. Absolutely. Jesus loves you. What's your favorite plant? My favorite plant? I like cactus. That's the species. My favorite cactus is known as the ocotillo. They're beautiful. They're stunning. You see them along the freeways when you're in Arizona. And there's a bunch of beautiful ocotillos when you go hiking in Sedona. And they're gorgeous. And I also like another one called a Palo Verde. It's a tree. I'm growing one now. I've always dreamed of having a Palo Verde tree. You see them all over Arizona and California. They're stunning. They're the trees that have that real rich green trunk, and they have like thin, spiny stems, but the whole thing is like this luscious, beautiful green. It's really the coolest thing. The plant out over the winter. I hope you get famous. By the way, I'm 8. Well, you're going to have to go to bed soon, honey. Do you believe in, yes, I believe in Jesus. Have a winter cactus. You have a winter cactus. What's your college days like? They were a lot cheaper than what they are now. You're going to be heartbroken when I tell you. I paid for my education. I went to college, university. I went to a university in California. I was there for 6 years, and I managed to wait on tables to pay my tuition. A 12-unit quarter on average back then in the 80s was like $300. And I waited tables and I paid for it that way. And I walked out without any debt, no student debt. I just paid for it. I bought my books. I did everything. I think I had like one credit card that I used a Citibank card for back then, and I would buy my books. I think that's the only, I think I had a $1,200 debt. But as for student loan, no. When I went to college, it was in the late 80s, early 90s, and the music was great. I'm not really into 80s music, but there are some bands that I remember fondly. And what can I say, you know? But yeah, that was my life. I have beautiful skin. Thank you very much. You'd be surprised what I have done in order to keep it that way, because I really let myself go. Lisa, you're my mom now. I subscribe. Thank you, F2. I love your videos. I appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you. I need that. Thank you, Legacy. F2 says, I'm going to have to go to bed soon. Well, have a good night's sleep. You are saved by his grace. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Billadio says he loves Disney. So do I. I do pin trading. Let me know if you do pin trading. I'm not a big pin trader. I just started. And there's a creator that I follow on YouTube called WDW Kevin. And he is a pin trader in Walt Disney World. And I love to watch his show. He's so good. And I do, by the way, I do know some creators at Disneyland who are very well known here on YouTube. I follow Best Life and Beyond, Katie and Spencer. I follow Dylan from Theme Park Obsession and Tiki Rick. The three creators. I try not to follow too many creators. Oh yes, the Disney, the Magic Dads, but they go to Walt Disney World. And sometimes I will watch the Holgate family, but they go on cruises. And so yeah, that's basically it. And I do follow a couple who do, well, Bill and Lisa Food Travels. They're like my age, and they're a couple and they like to eat. She works at Disneyland. So I'm always trying to go into the hotel to see if she's there. She works in service and engagement. So hi, Braylon. Thank you very much for the 100 gift. Appreciate you. My intention was to troll you, but you're a very nice person. So please have a good night and a good life. I'll be back later. Thank you very much, F2. Trolling, whatever. Everybody thinks trolling is like, it's such a waste of energy, but it's all good. I don't care. I've been trolled, man. Guys, I've gone through a lot. Do you enjoy horror films? You know what? Horror films, yes, but only lately. The Conjuring is one of my favorite movies, and I didn't go see The Conjuring, the most recent one, but I heard it's really good. And by the way, because I live in California, I like to go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. A lot of fun, great experience. If you haven't done it, you should try it. I've been to Halloween Horror Nights in Walt Disney World, in Florida, and I do Not Scary Farm, and I've done, well, it's not really horror, but I did Oogie Boogie Nights at Disneyland for a couple of years. I'm going to give it a break next year because it's very expensive, but a lot, since I've been doing it every year, going on those Halloween haunts, dude, they're just repurposing. Like, I'm like, how many times are you going to repurpose Insidious? Like, they repurposed, oh, don't even get me started, okay? But yeah, they're just repurposing stuff now on a lot of these horror night shows. Do you read Stephen King? I haven't read Stephen King in years. But yes, I used to read Stephen King. Look up Lizzie Borden. I totally know about Lizzie Borden. Cute butch haircut. It is not. I have my hair up. And it's a mess. So I just have it clipped up. Otherwise, it would be down. Okay? But I do like a good pixie every now and then. Were you alive for the Holocaust? No, but I'm going to share something with you. My mother, like I said, is 91. My mom still has her war rations when she was a little kid. And my uncle went to World War II and liberated Italy. And who else? My father was in the Korean War, and my other uncle fought in Vietnam. He re-enlisted, so he went back. So yeah, there's a lot of war history. I used to live in West LA, and this was back in the 90s. And there were a few people that I met who were survivors. And I actually experienced a tattoo once. Somebody showed me. They didn't mean to, but they were handing me a document, and they had the tattoo on their arm. And I never forgot it. So it is real. It really happened. And it's, just it's a terrible part of human history. And unfortunately, it was so long ago, I think people are starting to forget it, that it ever, and it's important to not forget the past so that we don't repeat it again. Okay. And that's it, guys. You guys are awesome, man. I appreciate every single one of you being here tonight. What do you think about society in 2025? Well, I'm still here. And it's what you make of it. I'm going to share something with you. There she goes again. Yap, yap, yap. Okay, so I used to live in Orange County, very conservative city. And I will tell you this. Our neighbors, we never talked to each other. Okay? Everybody was so private. So, bougie, sophisticated. No one ever talked to each other. Then I moved here to Long Beach. And I moved in, and I'm going to tell you something. I live in you guys are going to hate hearing this, okay? Because if you know me, you know that I'm a conspiracy theorist. In my neighborhood, all of our neighbors know each other. We all look out for one another. We all had a block party this year for the 4th of July. Had a great time. Nobody cares who you voted for. No one gives a damn. You know what I mean? It's you do you, boo. And nobody talks about, and if they do, like, they know who I voted for. They don't judge. You know, my neighbor across the street, you know, my neighbor across the street's gay. My neighbor next door is gay. My neighbor over here is gay. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, and we all take care of one another, period. And we, like, example, if I go on holiday, my neighbor's a nurse. And she's like, hey, I'm going to watch over your mom. I'm going to check in on her every day. And she does. She comes in, she checks on my mom. You know, the animals, we all take care of each other's pets. And like, nobody is in anybody's business. Nobody's a Karen here. And I see that in all these other communities. It's like, why is everybody so uptight and a bunch of Karens? Lisa, no, it's not. I live in Buena Park is nice. Girl, we're not talking about Buena Park, okay? We're not talking about Buena Park. Jonathan, let's go back over here and catch up. John 3:16. Maybe I misspoke. I should have said, I live in Huntington Beach. Gave us one son, and whoever believes in him shall not perish. Yes, it's a belief that I do believe in too. Nathan Ryan says he's Jewish and has put me in place. That's okay too. Just scroll. Simple as that, Nathan. Hell Earth. Yep, exactly. No, it's not. I live in Buena Park. Buena Park is, yes, I agree with you. And Buena Park is actually pretty great. I mean, you know, so. He's Muslim, not saying anything, no worries. You don't even have to share the fact that you're Muslim. You don't have to share that. You don't have to share all those things. I'm Mexican American. I was raised Catholic. I'm a Christian. What difference does it make at the end of the day? You know what I mean? I don't even know what faith my neighbors are. I don't care. You know, all I know is that when the SHIT goes down and something happens, guess what? If my neighbor needs something, I'm going to be there to lend a hand, period. Okay? And that we all of us here as neighbors know who's who and when and where, and we all look out for one another. So that's what's important. It's about the community. Thank you very much for the gift. Don't disrespect others' religion. When we all die, we will find out the true answer. There's always 3 stories. There is his, hers, hers and hers, his and his, and most importantly, there's always the truth. OC is not concerned. Okay, Nathan, let's have a talk about OC. It's not anymore, but it used to be. So where I'm coming from is a 60-year-old broad who used to live in the OC. Okay? And I love you regardless. Thank you. Somebody even wants to know what Buena Park is. Buena Park is a city in Orange County. And it is where Knott's Berry Farm is. Okay. You're so full of Siat, of course. Let's see. Hi, hello, hi. What are we doing? We're just chatting. Seriously, we are seriously chatting. Are you Chinese or Japanese? I am not. I'm Mexican American and Native American. Hey, Lisa, can you say Japan is innocent and blah, blah, blah for an edit? No, I cannot. Don't give up. Yes, respect equals respect no matter what you believe in. Yeah, and you know what? How somebody has their faith is really none of your business. I mean, it's not. Do you have any oil left over from last night? You know what? Hey, have you tried the tallow, the beef tallow on your face? I've been using the beef tallow. Did you see that over on TikTok, by the way? Speaking of oil, I've been using beef tallow. Let me let my little sage out. He wants to go outside. Go on, boy. We're having a conversation here. Yeah, we're having fun. Do you like Trump? Yes. Wow, me too. I'm Spanish and Native American. Good for you. Congratulations. We have good blood.
Honorable.
And then Nathan Theo says he sent $100. Thank you very much. $100. Thank you. Appreciate you, Nathan. See, you came through. So guys, we're going to go ahead and end this live. I appreciate you guys being here. I love the chit chat. Kids these days, they don't do anything. Yes, they work very hard. I work with a lot of kids, and I'm going to tell you something. They are very smart and wise, and they get it, and they're awake. And we should really understand that they're going to change this world for the better because they get it. All right? They see through the BS. Half Mexican, half Native American equals Chinese. That's crazy. You know what? Let's do some research on that and figure that out. I'll tell you that, okay? And I got all this off my Ancestry. I did Ancestry.com. Bye, thank you, bye. Have a nice life. See you in, okay. Well, we'll be there. I don't know if you do jumping jacks. Yes, I do, but we're not going to do them tonight. So you guys have a great night. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining, and let's do this again soon. Have a great Thanksgiving. Bye.